Hello, everybody. Welcome. And we are super excited today. We wanted to do this as kind of an emergency recording. Wanted to talk about Bitcoin here. It is an interesting thing that happened today. The Bitcoin ETFs have now been approved. And so, as you can see here, there's a little bit of action going on here with Bitcoin, which we like to see. And it's always good to see something happening. And on top of that, it's starting to, I guess, now that it's uh, past midnight on the 11th, later today, when the stock market opens, you'll be able to purchase stocks from a bunch of the issuers that have been now approved by the SEC. So this is exciting news. So we wanted to kind of get this video out and go over a bunch of details as to how to buy it, if you should buy it, and discussing what I'm gonna do essentially versus, what you really should do, but essentially just giving you some more information that you can use for your research. That way we can actually see what makes sense and learn some things that maybe you didn't know. So, talking about owning Bitcoin, I might lose you already with this, so I'll make it quick. You can usually buy it from Coinbase, Robinhood, Binance, and a bunch of other exchanges. Do you wanna purchase it and leave it there? No, you really don't want to. You wanna take it and then transfer it to your own wallet. By doing that, there's a lot of dangers. If you don't know how to use, let's say, Exodus, Coinbase Wallet, Electrum, Trust Wallet, a bunch of other software wallets, or even a Ledger Nano or a Trezor wallet, something like that, those all have advantages and disadvantages, and they also require a little bit of technical skill and knowledge so that you don't lose your keys and lose your essentially your password to unlock the Bitcoin. So if I've already lost you, we're going to move on. The goal here is that the ETFs are created to help you out and make it easier for you. And so what comes up now is I think it's about 11 different issuers that got approved. So if you're going to just be, I don't want to say lazy, but take the easier route and kind of assume that the issuer and their custodian is going to take care of the Bitcoin for you, what should you do? Who should you deal with? And so this data is constantly changing. And again, this is just research that I've done for you. That way it can help you a little bit and you can make your own decision at the very end. This list here is a list of all the issuers, their custody, the ticker, the exchange, the fees for the actual promo period, which, or I should say after the promo period, and then the fees that you'll have starting tomorrow if they're going live, and then kind of just some assets under management in the last column here to see, essentially where, they are as far as holding all assets, not just crypto assets in a way. So one thing that you'll notice on the left side here is that the custodian across the board. The biggest one is essentially showing up as Coinbase after I did my research on all these SEC filings as well as the actual uh, ETF websites from the companies. So be aware of that. It's an interesting thing to see Coinbase across the board here. And what I can do is I want to show you the just because it's interesting to me. I wonder, how much the uh, actual, Coinbase stock can possibly be at now, essentially, because they're going to have possibly an influx. It's hard to say if an influx in, uh, uh, I guess, money coming into them is going to help the stock quite a bit. But looking at it here, it's interestingly low, and from their all time highs, I should say, and it looks like it's around 151 bucks. So that's interesting to see that Coinbase off the bat because they're uh, heavily involved. I kind of wanted to track that and take a look at it. I wanted to share that with you to see. Wow, it's interesting that Coinbase is dealing with all these large issuers. So going back to this list, we can see that Bitwise is the first on the list with the lowest promo fee, I guess, or I guess the lowest fee after the promo with the 0%. So obviously highlighted the first two here because they're the lowest fee after the promo. And then to see like if you went with Bitwise, you can get it for 0% fees for the first 6 months or the first $1 billion that they sell of Bitcoin. So there's an advantage to be putting money in with these issuers ahead of time. The biggest question is who's the most stable, who's the best, who's going to be a good balance between having the safest Bitcoin, the best custody of it, as well as being a legitimate company. And so you can see here that Bitwise, though, is relatively small on assets under management from my research here. And so you could kind of analyze this across the board. I'll tell you little things that I know. I know Bitwise is no relation to another Bitwise that kind of went under or had issues. It's a completely different company, apparently. Uh, Ark Invest is the next one down with 21 shares. They partnered with them. But I personally like Ark Invest a lot due to Kathy Wood, so that's interesting to see. Also, to note that the CBOE is being used versus the New York Stock Exchange. It seems like a lot of them are using the CBOE versus New York Stock Exchange or Nasdaq or the. That's essentially it. And so, ARK is going that route. And then the nice thing with ARK is that you'll have it for 21.21% or 21 points as far as for the fees, and then you'll get the 0%. So those are very interesting. Fidelity being 0% also for the intro period is very interesting. They seem to be enormous here with the last column being the assets under management. It looks like the winners for that are Fidelity, BlackRock, Franklin, Templeton, as well as Invesco Galaxy. And so it's hard to say if, looks like if I were to, utilize the best names out there, I would say maybe the biggest names I should say are BlackRock and Fidelity, I would say. And then looking further, you see how the kind of the percentages are, slowly going up. Kind of gets crazy here after you get to start getting into the range here of Valkyrie or Valkyrie, as well as Hashdex and Grayscale. They're kind of up there quite a bit, but they do have their promos as well. Some of them have no promo fee, and they're just saying, "Here it is." So Van Eck and Franklin Templeton, as well as Hashdex and Grayscale, are just showing the fee as it is. Grayscale, I guess, apparently they have information showing that they feel that they have had their GBTC running out there for a long time. They have a bunch of assets under management for that part. So they do have a lot of assets under management, even just in the Bitcoin, I guess, area. But essentially, they're still at 50 billion for total assets under management from doing my research. On top of that, it looks like Hashdex is actually using BitGo. I don't know too much about them. So essentially, then I was debating personally between if I'm going to go ahead and do this because I do actually hold and uh, manage my own Bitcoin, but just because it's going to be so easy, it'd be interesting to see which one of these will show up on, I guess, Robinhood and or let's say Charles Schwab, and then that might sway people one way or another. And I will try to go ahead and place another video or make another video about any of the other, I guess, exchanges that I check to see what's out there. But currently, as of early morning on the 11th, you can't actually search or get any of these ETFs that I found. And so it'll be interesting to see what actually happens after the start of the market, I guess, tomorrow. And so be aware of that. Certain things just looking on here that are interesting are that there's only two listed here with NASDAQ. On top of that, it looks like some of the naming is interesting. So, like Valkyrie has BRRR, which is an interesting name, and Hashdex got DeFi, which doesn't make too much sense to me. I would think of another either Ethereum or some other coin to be decentralized finance or DeFi. But either way, looks like Van X name's kind of cool with the HODL. But long story short, if I were to lean towards anything, I'd be looking at the ARC 21 shares. I'd be looking at the bigger players like Fidelity, BlackRock, and also I would just be very cautious because this is very volatile, and you never know what could happen. One thing to note with all that is that there is something called the Bitcoin halving, and a halving event happens every 4 years. So don't forget, the next time that this happens is actually going to be upcoming in April, and it's not a guarantee, but the every 4 years the a reward that goes to the miners is cut in half. and it's supposed to be meant to prevent inflation and keep the Bitcoin supply in check. The demand is expected to increase when that happens. It's not a guarantee, and the value is possibly likely to surge. And the last time this happened was in May 2020. And obviously, the Bitcoin chart, this is courtesy of TradingView. You can see the first halving, the second halving, the third, and the fourth. And as you could tell, after every halving, what occurs. So this is just previous information. Doesn't guarantee that that'll happen in the future, but if you were to, you know, gamble on it, you can kind of utilize that information as you'd prefer. And again, this is all very dangerous, not financial advice. Do your own research. I just wanted to give you the information that I just researched to help you out to see, what you might get or you might look into. And I appreciate you joining me. And hopefully, you have a good day, and please comment below if you're actually going to purchase anything or if you have any comments or advice on what you think is best. And go ahead and also uh, make sure to like, subscribe, turn on notifications, and check out the rest of our videos. We have a lot of tech videos that are about finance as well as cryptocurrency, all the way up to Tesla and a whole bunch of different technologies from, let's say, laptops to Apple to iPhone, stuff like that. We appreciate it. Have a good one.